Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we have some big news coming straight from Washington, and trust me, if you or someone you love has a green card or is planning to apply for one, you need to hear this right now. President Trump has just announced major changes to the green card rules. And these are not small adjustments, these are changes that could impact thousands of families immediately. And here's the most shocking part: the new rules start today. That's right, not next month, not next year, but from this very moment. Now, I know how confusing immigration news can be. There's always new policies, new forms, new deadlines. And if you're not following the updates closely, it's easy to miss something important. That's why I'm here today, to make it simple, clear, and easy to understand, especially for those of you who want to protect your status and keep your family safe. So, what's changing? Well, under these new rules, certain eligibility requirements for green cards have been tightened. That means things like income, sponsorship, and even some documentation rules are different now. If you're thinking, does this affect me? Then stick with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to explain exactly what the changes are, who they impact the most, and what steps you need to take immediately to stay compliant. And don't worry, I'll break it down in plain language, no legal jargon, no confusion, just the facts, plus some practical tips that could save you time and money. So, grab a cup of coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive in together. Because this isn't just news, this is about your future, your family, and your peace of mind. Before we start, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit that like button. It helps more people just like you stay informed about these important changes. And if you find this helpful, share it with your friends or family who might need this information today. All right, let's get into the details. Here's what Trump's new green card rules really mean for you. What these new green card rules really mean for you, or perhaps for your family members, your children, grandchildren, or even neighbors. Like I said before, this isn't a maze of legal jargon. I want this to feel like we're having a chat over tea in the living room, straightforward, caring, and practical. So first, imagine your green card as a golden ticket. It's not just a document, it's your ticket to living and working in the United States, to being close to loved ones, to planning for your future. And now, that ticket has a few new scribbles on it. The government has tightened some of the eligibility requirements, particularly around how much income a sponsor needs to have and the kinds of proof you need to provide. That means if someone is sponsoring you, maybe a family member, they have to earn a bit more than before or fill out their paperwork with a little more care. If you're thinking, oh dear, not more paperwork, I hear you. It's overwhelming. But don't worry, we'll break it all down. Here's how it goes. Previously, sponsors had to meet what's called the poverty level requirement. That meant they needed to show they earned at least 125% of the poverty level, which changes every year. But let's say that was around $26,000 for a household of two. Under the new rules, that threshold has nudged up, sometimes by a few $1,000s. Now, for the same household, the sponsor might need to show income closer to $28,000 or more. That may not sound like much, but if someone was living on a fixed income or just barely meeting the mark, every dollar counts. Here's something that concerns a lot of folks. If the sponsor doesn't meet those income requirements, there's still a path called a joint sponsor. That's like bringing in a friend or family member to help in the paperwork. Before, if your child or neighbor wanted to help out, they just needed to meet the old threshold. Now, they need to meet this higher one too. So, if you had multiple helpers lined up, each helper now faces that same higher bar. Does that sound complicated? I promise, it's not once you get used to thinking of it as, okay, each person helping must show they can afford to support someone, it starts to make sense. Plus, I'll give you tips later on how to make the paperwork easier to gather so you don't feel like you're climbing Everest. Another big change that's going to make some folks take notice: documentation about assets. In the past, if income was a little low, you could rely on assets, like savings accounts, a car, even property, to make up the difference. Now, the government is getting more particular. They want clear evidence of those assets, and they're asking for values that often have to be calculated in a more up-to-date way, not just with vague estimates. That means if you have, say, a savings account with $10, they'll want a statement showing that amount, dated within a certain time frame, sometimes just 30 days. If you have bonds or other investments, you may need to show recent valuations or statements. Old documents or rough screenshots might not cut it anymore. But beyond paperwork, let's talk about timing and deadlines. This isn't just a file whenever situation. If you already submitted an application or you're mid-process, check the date on your submission. Some of these new rules apply even if you filed before the changes were announced. That means, even if your paperwork was already underway, you might have to provide additional evidence now or resubmit certain parts. If you're working with an immigration attorney or a local advocacy group, contact them immediately. Don't wait for a request from the government. Be proactive. Better to be upfront and safe than to be surprised later. Now, I need to share something I spoke with an immigration advisor about last night. She said that the goal behind these changes is to be more certain that new green card recipients won't become reliant on government assistance. And from one angle, you can understand the intent. You want your family, your loved ones, to be self-sufficient and supported. But in practice, that means the system expects tighter proof. It's not about punishing anyone. It's about making sure everyone entering the system can truly sustain themselves. So if this impacts you, don't worry. It's not personal. It's the system shifting. So what should you do right now? First, pause and gather your documents. That means tax returns, pay stubs, bank statements, and asset valuations. Organize them, label them clearly. If you need help, reach out to local nonprofits that support seniors or immigrant communities. They often offer document workshop days. You're not alone in this. Phone your lawyer, or if you don't have one, check your local senior center. They often have legal clinics or referral services. And don't forget, this is time sensitive. The sooner you have those papers ready, the smoother things will go. A few minutes now can save weeks or even months of waiting later. Here's another note. Keep copies of absolutely everything. Every document you submit, make a copy and store it in a safe place. Even scan it or photograph it. That way, if anything gets lost, you've still got a backup. And trust me, when you're waiting on something as important as a green card, it gives you peace of mind. If this feels a bit overwhelming right now, that's totally okay. Stop the video for a second if you need, breathe, sip your tea, and remind yourself you're doing something really important for your future. Start with one document, one step at a time. You've got support behind you, and you're not alone. Also, I'd love to keep supporting you. If you find this helpful, please do me a favor, hit that like button right now, and let me know in the comments what you're facing. Maybe you're unsure about how to show asset value, or you're curious about deadlines. I'll plan future videos exactly around those questions. Together, we can walk through each challenge because you deserve clarity, and I want to be here for you. All right, my friends, we've covered what's changed. Higher income thresholds, stricter document requirements, and potential need for joint sponsors. We talked about gathering everything carefully, being proactive with legal help or community groups, and staying calm, one step at a time. Let's carry that calm forward as we wrap up the day. So here's what I want you to do after watching. Gather your paperwork, call someone who can help, and come back here with questions. And if someone in your circle needs this information, click share. They need to know there are changes and there are solutions. In the next video, I'll be talking more about how to fill out those forms clearly and even share a downloadable document checklist you can print or fill in on your tablet. That way, you'll feel fully prepared before you mail or upload anything. Thank you so much for being here with me today. You're taking real steps to protect your future, and I'm honored to walk alongside you. Remember, you are seen, you are capable, and you are not alone. I'll see you soon. Stay steady, stay supported, and stay connected.